I made the bet in the kitchen, sunlight bleeding across the marble like a confession. If I'm wrong, I told my grandson, steady as a surgeon, the villa is yours. He laughed, nervous. Loyal. He didn't know yet how expensive loyalty can be. The day before, my daughter-in-law kissed my cheek with the same mouth she'd been using to lie to me. I tasted sugar and rot. That's when I knew something was moving under the floorboards of my life. I didn't confront, I observed. Confrontation is a gift you give when you want answers. I wanted proof. I met her 10 years ago at a baptism, all grace and careful smiles. She shook my hand like she'd studied it. She brought wine she couldn't afford and flowers she'd Googled. She watched me like a horizon. Back then, I mistook that hunger for respect. I gave her everything she asked for without her asking, a seat at the table, access, the rhythm of our family. When my son died, I folded her grief into mine and called it love. I trusted her with my grandson's future because trust felt like oxygen after loss. Then the air changed. It starts small, it always does. A glance held half a second too long, a phone angled away like a guilty chin, sudden concern about my health, questions about the villa, who owned it, how it would pass, who would manage things if I didn't. I noticed her shoes first, quiet soles, meant to move unseen. Then her perfume shifted, heavier, night-bound. She began scheduling my appointments, offering to simplify. She spoke of my memory like it was already fading. I didn't accuse, I sharpened. I asked my grandson for help because I needed clean hands. I told him it was insurance. I told him to install a listening app. For safety, I said. For peace. He hesitated. He's good like that. I gave him the bet, the villa. He agreed because hope is easier than suspicion. The next day, I sat alone in my study, the app open, the curtains drawn like a courtroom. I pressed play. Her voice slid out first, soft, reassuring. Then another voice, male, confident, not family. They spoke of timelines, dosages, attorneys. They laughed about me, about how old women panic, about how grief makes people pliable. She called the villa a trophy. She called my grandson manageable. My heart didn't break, it calcified. I stopped the recording before the end. I didn't need more. I needed control. That night, I cooked dinner. I laughed. I let her talk. I let her believe the room belonged to her. Inside, I built a map. First, I called my lawyer, old friend, ruthless when necessary. We froze accounts. We shifted assets. We rewrote wills with witnesses who don't forget faces. We documented everything, time-stamped, irrefutable. Then the doctor, a new one, private. I asked for tests. I wanted proof there too. Control is cumulative. Then the school, guardianship revisions, trusts, locks changed quietly, not on doors, on systems. I never let her see the knife. I let her see a pillow. The app kept feeding me truth. She grew bolder. Greed makes people sloppy. She talked about accelerating things. She talked about a clean outcome. I saved every word like ammunition. The climax came on a Thursday, rain like static. I invited her to the villa. She arrived dressed for a victory lap. She always underestimated my patience. I poured tea, chamomile, harmless. She smiled too much. I need to show you something, I said. My voice was calm because I'd already won. I played the recording. Her face emptied first, then filled with calculations that no longer mattered. She tried denial, then tears, then rage. The arc was predictable. I let it run. You installed spyware, she hissed. No, I said. You spoke freely. I slid the folder across the table. Legal filings, account freezes, guardianship papers, medical reports. Her name highlighted where it no longer mattered. You don't get the villa, I told my grandson, who stood behind her, pale and perfect. But you get the truth. That's worth more. She tried to bargain. She tried to threaten. I watched her realize the floor was gone, that the story she'd been telling herself had ended. When she left, it was quiet. No police, no shouting, just consequences. Now I sit in the same kitchen where I made the bet. The marble still catches the light. The house breathes again. My grandson sleeps upstairs, safe in the knowledge that monsters don't always roar. Sometimes they whisper. I don't feel sad. I feel precise. Betrayal taught me something valuable. Never confuse kindness with blindness. I keep my promises. I kept this one too. She thought she was hunting me. I was training her to confess.